Knowing how to use AI in 2026 is not a flex. It's a baseline. Like knowing Microsoft Word in 2005. It sounds good on a resume, but companies expect it. So if I know chat isn't enough anymore, what actually puts you ahead? In the next 6 minutes, I'm going to give you 5 AI skills that make you genuinely more valuable, not because you can type a prompt, but because you can think differently than the other 95% of people. I've been tracking how companies actually deploy AI, which roles are growing, and most importantly, what separates the people who are thriving from the ones who feel stuck. And here's the honest truth. It is not about better prompts. It's about building 5 habits that technology can't easily steal. Let's break them down, starting with the one nobody talks. Skill number 1 is not prompting. It's defining the situation before you even touch the keyboard. Most people think getting better at AI means learning smarter phrasing. They obsess over tone, formatting, and magic words. But here's what actually determines quality output: the clarity of your thinking before you type a single character. I recently watched someone try to use AI to improve business performance. They rewrote the same request 5 times, added more detail, changed the tone, still got generic fluff. Why? Because improving performance is meaningless. Are we increasing revenue, reducing costs, boosting retention, fixing pricing? Each direction leads to a completely different strategy. If your goal is undefined, I will always give you broad, useless advice. This isn't a technology problem, it's a thinking problem. Effective users do 2 things. 1. They define the objective, exactly what success looks like. 2. They define the limits, budget, time, resources, what's unacceptable. Once those are clear, AI stops guessing. It operates inside real guardrails. Instead of exploring every possible fantasy, it compares realistic options. The shift is simple. Stop trying to improve your prompts. Improve the thinking behind your prompts. Structured thinking is the new superpower. Once you can frame a problem, the next level isn't generating solutions. It's testing decisions before they become real. Almost nobody does this. Most people use AI to produce final things: an email, a proposal, a plan. They generate, tweak, and move on. But they never use AI to pressure test a decision before it has consequences. I saw this in a pricing debate at a growing company. The team was circling based on gut feelings. Instead of arguing, someone organized the revenue data, churn rates, competitor prices, and cost increases. Then they asked AI to model different scenarios: revenue impact, customer reactions, operational risks for each price change. The conversation changed instantly. Decisions were no longer about who had the loudest opinion. They were examined from multiple angles before implementation. Same for hiring. Instead of debating assistant versus software, describe workload, salary, onboarding time, and growth. Let AI compare both paths over 12 months, trade-offs, costs, risks. Even ask it to challenge its own assumptions. This doesn't replace your judgment. It strengthens it. You see second-order effects before they happen. You expose your reasoning to structured pressure before the real world does. That's the difference between reactive decisions and confident ones. Getting a great result once is nice, but building a simple system so it works every week, that's where things really change. Most people use AI in random moments. They feel stuck, open a tool, type something, adjust, and move on. Next day, back to zero. Start, organize raw customer data into one structured summary. That summary becomes the base for a planning document. Key decisions from that document feed directly into slide creation, with preset formatting. The main points from the slides generate the follow-up email. Each stage builds on the previous one. You're not starting fresh. You're not rewriting context. The core message stays aligned because everything comes from one structured source. That's tool stacking, a coordinated flow where each tool has a defined role. The output of one is the input of the next. The advantage isn't just speed, it's consistency. Data stays accurate. The message stays aligned. You stop fixing disconnects between stages. Most people stop at single task improvement. But when you map the entire system, AI stops feeling like a collection of apps and starts functioning like infrastructure. That's where real leverage lies. The last skill is the most important as AI gets more powerful, deciding how much control to give away and where to stay fully in charge. It's tempting to let AI handle more and more. It's faster at writing, analyzing, summarizing. But people who stay ahead do something different. They clearly decide, which parts can AI support? Which parts must stay human? Example, AI can draft an email instantly, but it doesn't understand your full relationship history with that client. AI can suggest a strategy, but it doesn't grasp your long-term vision, internal politics, or company culture. AI can analyze numbers, but it doesn't feel the real-world consequences of a bad decision. Just because AI can generate an answer doesn't mean it should make the final call. If you let AI handle everything without review, your own judgment weakens. You stop questioning, stop refining, stop thinking deeply. Strategic use means you stay responsible, you set the rules, you check the outputs, you adjust the direction AI supports, you remain accountable. It also means knowing when not to use AI. Some creative work is better when you struggle through it yourself. Some decisions require personal experience. Some conversations build trust because they feel human, not optimized. The real advantage isn't speed, it's control. Use AI as a multiplier of your ability, not a replacement for your thinking. That awareness separates someone who casually uses AI from someone who truly stays ahead because of it. So those are the 5 skills that separate normal AI users from people who become genuinely valuable because of it. One quick note: knowing the skills is one thing. Having a structured way to practice them, with real guardrails and feedback, is another. That's why I mentioned the Google AI Essentials certificate earlier. It's linked in the description if you want to see the exact exercises that build these habits. Thanks for watching. If you want more on building systems that actually work, not just theories, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.